Two great players lined up for us. Hey, it's Giratina V-Star.
Your favorite.
Yay!
Danny Altavilla on the left playing Lost Zone Giratina V-Star, a deck that is the most played deck in the room. Danny's trying to punch his ticket into day 2 with just that. Meanwhile, Kamil Colatosti playing a Lost Zone box, and it is going to be pretty similar to the list that we just saw Jake playing, but a little bit different cards.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Illuminion V inclusion. This is one of those consistency cards that we see added into the mix where you're able to find that chorus experiment that you're going to need earlier on. You have the water energies to get this Pokemon potentially attacking in some situations, cleaning up some of these single prize Pokemon. And I'm going to be interested to see the battle of the hand disruption, as Danny has decided to go with double Iono, no Roxanne. And on the other side, Kamil has the one Roxanne to go with there. So we'll look for what happens after these players take a couple prize cards.
And that is what these decks are very good at doing early, is taking a couple prize cards with the likes of Cramorant and Sableye and Radiant Greninja. There is water energy in Danny's deck, so.
Yep, and it's only going to be the 2 water energy, so I guess it's not truly dehydrated, Tina, but it's close. It's almost out of water.
Yeah,
so.
It's more so you can attack with Manaphy, right?
Of course, yeah. You got to sprinkle that in every once in a while. 20 can be clutch. Now, finding both water energy at the right time is something that we're going to have to look out for. Maybe a little bit of disrespect. Do you want to play the Manaphy down in a situation like this if you don't see all the water energies?
Couple Nest Balls, Sableye, Jet Energy, Giratina V, and a Mirage Gate for Danny. Meanwhile, Kamil, Dragonite V, and Radiant Greninja are going to be pretty big cards in the prizes.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And you see the Chorus Experiment as well. It's a card you're not going to want to have prize there. And a Clara at the bottom is not really the card you're looking for either. You want to see that usually around that 4th or 5th prize card, just to clean up, find that last Sableye. So a little awkward here. Do see the Hisuian Heavy Ball is a card featured for Kamil, so maybe that can help mix things up.
All right, Kyle, round 8, ready to start. Looks like Danny is going to start things off for us here with the Comfey in the active spot.
That's right, the fastest hands in the South getting to work here. Comfey is going to find a couple energies to get things started. Might as well shuffle them around 15 times, right?
Yeah, might as well. Jet Energy is really such an amazing card in this Lost Zone Giratina, because if you have 3 Comfey, it allows you to use 3 flower selecting with just that 1 Jet Energy.
Yeah, it lines up so well. Starting that Comfey in the active spot, then using that Jet to bring up the 2nd one, retreat to the 3rd. 3 cards in the Lost Zone on turn 1 has to be ideal. It means you only need to see 2 Comfeys in combination with that Colress to get that Mirage Gate rolling. Put a lot of pressure on Kamil turn 2.
Danny prize checking here now. Gonna see that there's not too much prize. The
Nothing you could really search for.
Yeah,
you see that Jet Energy, a couple of the Nest Balls. So consistency could be a little bit of an issue here when you're looking through with that Comfey, but maybe that means you're just more apt to see that Battle VIP pass.
Exactly, yeah. We're just going to get the Battle VIP pass off the 2nd flower selecting.
I dig it. Let's do it.
And with that Comfey on the bench, Jet Energy can be attached to it. You can also just retreat to active with the Psychic. I don't think you're going to do that, though.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that energy down, and I don't think you're terribly worried about how this all plays out. If you find the Battle VIP pass here, it's going to be very strong. Ooh, finds the Comfey, so it's not the end of the world. But
losing
double
another
grass energy?
Yeah.
You get one more, friend.
All right, this is going to be a very tight game here. Danny retreating to the 3rd Comfey. Battle VIP pass, Path to the Peak found. Get rid of that Path to the Peak. Battle VIP pass now, searching for 2 basic Pokemon. And this is what you're wanting to see if you're Danny, albeit maybe a little too heavy on the grass energy in the Lost Zone.
Yeah, took touch grass literally there,
yeah.
Threw it all away. Unfortunate, but Battle VIP pass is going to help out tremendously. Could find that Radiant Greninja, continue to draw through, find some more resources. You see that Path to the Peak, I believe that's in the hand there, so could start to look at a card like that to slow down Kamil, and maybe they don't find the right setup. do like to see the Manaphy as a card that's considered in a matchup like this, as obviously you're worried about that Radiant Greninja, but at turn 1, seeing that Manaphy is unlikely. And if your opponent plays out their opening setup and you do see that this Radiant Greninja is prized, maybe it's a wasted space.
And we do see Danny opt for the Sableye off this Battle VIP Pass instead of something like a Giratina V to try to take down a big Pokemon V on Camille's side of things. But in this matchup, you kind of just want to go single prize for most of it.
Yeah, there's definitely situations where you can incorporate the Giratina V if you're not playing too heavy on the bench, but we've already seen Danny has committed. He's played those 3 Comfeys down, so if you're not going to go with the route where you play a thin bench, go ahead and play the single prize race, and hopefully that works out for you.
Camille taking a Christian strategy and just using Forest Seal Stone turn 1.
I want what I want.
A little bit better here, though, because you can find Colress's Experiment, which is just a powerful supporter for this kind of deck. You can also find Battle VIP Pass if you want. Here we're going to take a little bit of time to search their deck, make sure what cards are prized, and you're going to see, yeah, ooh, Radiant Greninja and Dragonite V. All right.
Not ideal.
I guess the Dragonite's less important now that Danny went the route of no Giratina, but it's always good to have.
Yep, having that backup plan to knock out that Pokemon can be helpful. Have seen that backfire occasionally in situations where you deal 20 damage to your own bench and Sableye is ready to punish, and looks like that is not going to line up in this game 1 here.
Halucha Hoot.
I would expect to see the Colress Experiment get played early, as you just need to see those cards potentially run into those Battle VIP passes. Got to get those Comfeys of your own. Got to get the cards into the Lost Zone, and although you do have a supporter, this is a slower start for sure.
Quite energy dense in the hand for Camille here. Does have that Colress's Experiment, so it's going to start things off with that supporter. 5 off the top. Does find Battle VIP Pass. A couple Comfey. Forest Seal Stone you can get rid of, and then Escape Rope.
Yep, that's pretty clean. Did take the time to see the counts and identify that there are no Comfey in the prize card, so maybe you could lose one of those here. Grab another along with the Escape Rope in the Battle VIP Pass, of course.
It does exactly that.
This is almost some turn 1 stuff. Look at the way this hand's playing out.
It is pretty crazy to think about, but yeah, this hand is stellar. You have that Lost Vacuum to inflate your Lost Zone count. And Camille grabs that Cramorant, so we'll be able to end the turn with Spit Innocently, most likely. Yeah, taking down a Comfey.
It's been a little back and forth and how you want to go about this matchup using that Cramorant. Being the first player to use Cramorant usually is not a good thing. Of course, you're taking the prize card, but the return Cramorant from your opponent, if Manaphy is already in play, means that you're going to have to find Sableye that turn, or else you're falling behind having to use Super Rod on that Cramorant, or you have to get aggressive with a V Pokemon. So maybe to Danny's benefit here if he sees the Cramorant early.
Flower selecting Escape Rope, Pokestop. Pokestop's one of those cards that's also going to help out your opponent throughout this entire game. Camille does opt to put it in the hand, though. Second Comfey. You have Switch Card. Got an energy, so you can retreat if you want, even if this flower selection doesn't find anything. And Comfey Sableye, it's going to be a little bit risky, but
yeah,
2 Comfey in the prize cards now.
Awesome.
Now, Danny did have the opportunity.
Whoa!
Oh, okay. Just draw 3.
That is good. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you're looking for too much off of the Battle VIP Pass. Of course, you can protect yourself from the other Radiant Greninja. Your opponent did get those 3 cards into the Lost Zone, so got to be wary of that threat. You may not have the information we do, that it is just the 2 water energies, making it a little more awkward to find the right cards.
Honestly, that Pokestop was perfect because finding that second Battle VIP Pass allows Camille to find that Manaphy which I was just about to say, Danny had the opportunity to grab Radiant Greninja, opted not to, maybe kind of playing a little coy with it, saying, oh, well, I can just play it down next turn and get Mirage Gate and surprise a Moonlight Shuriken out of nowhere. But Kamil senses that. Grab that Manaphy.
See 4 cards in the Lost Zone. It's going to be a knockout there with the Cramorant, and leads over to Danny trying to find the right pieces here. Of course, you're threatened by that Cramorant. You want to take the knockout on this Pokemon. There's not much else that you really can do with that Manaphy on the bench. It's kind of that standstill card for both players as you try to find ways to take advantages in this situation. Really, only way to do that is get more cards in the Lost Zone than your opponent so that you can work in that Sableye.
First flower selecting for Danny gets rid of the boss's orders. There is 2 copies in the list compared to other Lost Zone decks.
Wow.
That was the worst Pokestop possible, I think.
Yep, that's not good. I mean, it could get worse. Let's be fair, but that's not good. Danny holding the 3rd Grass Energy in hand, too. Just cannot find the right resources here.
Escape Rope flower selecting finds, what, Giratina V and something else, but definitely deep in the tank for this. Is another Escape Rope?
Just going to play as a Lost Box player as well. Throw away the Giratina piece. Play down that Cramorant. And you only got 5 cards in the Lost Zone at this point. Of course, that means that you will be able to work in the Cramorant, but you're not knocking out your opponent's Cramorant. That's the whole point, Jeremy. Is make sure you get that Pokemon out of the way, force your opponent into a situation where they have to go for the aggro Sableye on a turn where maybe they're not prepared.
Listen, Danny plays 2 compared to
that
Camille's
helps.
1. So if it does get down to a little Cramorant action back and forth, Danny does have the numbers advantage, but Kamil taking the prize first.
You hope by then you're already playing Sableye stuff, but certainly finding the prize card here is going to be helpful. Your opponent has already thrown away 2 Comfeys into the Lost Zone, so why not throw 1 more into the discard pile in combination with Path to the Peak. See if you can slow them down, as it's only 4 in the Lost Zone total, and 1 Comfey. Nope, not going to happen.
I was about to say, this hand kind of looks a little awkward, except for that Colress's Experiment with that and the flower selecting from the last Comfey in play. The 3 Mirage Gates in hand should be live. 3 of them, Kyle.
You don't need that many, Jeremy.
That's why I said it was an awkward hand.
Yeah, that is true. Well, we'll see.
All right, how about a 4th one?
Okay, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, the funny part, you don't even need Mirage Gate right now.
Yeah, there's no Pokemon that really can take these energies and feel good about it.
You could charge up Spit Innocently.
Yeah, that's a flex that no one's prepared for. We're going to just see the knockout. Remove that Cramorant, and this could be a surprise turn for Kamil, seeing the 2nd Cramorant from Danny potentially. All right, now it's not as much of a surprise.
No, yeah. It'll be a surprise for game 2, maybe.
Ooh.
Super Odd shovels back a couple energy and that Cramorant for Danny here. There's a couple flower selectings available to him. 5 in the Lost Zone.
What an interesting back and forth here to start things off. Just the choruses are being found on Camille's side, but not enough Comfey are there to help out and get the cards in the Lost Zone. On the other side for Danny, has all the Comfey in the world, but can't find the Colress Experiment. It's just a little too slow. Need some help out of this hand.
Well, another way to help is more flower selecting. Get rid of that Giratina V-Star, keep the Super Rod.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of energies. You've already used both Comfey already. You have Giratina if you want to just work in the build your own Colress.
Wow, all right.
That is a desperate play. But it could honestly be correct at this point. You need to get the ball rolling. You need cards in the Lost Zone. This looks like Sableye for next turn, but at a big risk.
Looking through Camille's list, I don't see Echoing Horn. So there's no way for a Raikou to take a one-hit knockout on this Giratina V. He's going to need something like that Dragonite V in the prize cards, but finding the Suian Heavy Ball could search it out.
Man, if only we had...
Or it's already in hand.
Okay, well, if only we had 3 Mirage Gate in a situation like this, right?
You know, I think Camille has that.
That might work. Yeah, that's... It's questionable here, too, though, in this situation. We've talked about it a little bit at the beginning. If you work in the Dragonite to take a knockout like this, you're going to deal damage to your own Pokemon. And that means that Danny is going to take earlier prize cards than expected. Sableye can work in double knockouts left and right on these Pokemon. And maybe that's what Danny's going to need to accelerate this prize race.
If only Manaphy's protected from your own attacks, too.
I think like Bench Barrier kind of did that. Or so, did one of them ever help you to protect you from your own stuff?
I think it was Mr. Mime.
There we go. Yeah. So a little downgrade here. Unlucky.
Well, that's what you get for having a better attack.
That's true. Yeah. 20 goes crazy. Well,
double
speaking of
Mirage
some good
Gate.
attacks, Dragonite V. Easy knockout there on the Giratina V. Sableye going to be lined up there with the Psychic Energy. So if you're Danny, do you ignore Dragonite?
Oh, 100%.
I love that.
I want Camille to attack, and then I would take a knockout on Sableye and Comfey.
That sounds great. Maybe even go after the Manaphy, and you can potentially work in that Radiant Greninja at some point. Surprise.
2 prize cards left for Camille now.
Ooh, does Danny have the Iono in hand?
Only 1 left. I don't see it, and it's going to have to rely off these flower selectings. Top card of the deck as well. Water Energy is not going to do it. First flower selecting. Iono.
Wow. What a
Okay.
big find there. Camille down to just 2 prize cards remaining.
Has the Psychic Energy. Does he have a way to retreat? I see the Mirage Gate. If there's energy left in the deck, you can just Mirage Gate for an energy, retreat to Comfey.
You have to think that's on Danny's mind at this point. If you have the Super Rod as well, can get those energies shuffled back in. This is a situation where Giratina V could come back into play. You're going to need
Shred.
a Pokemon that knocks out this Dragonite V at some point. Your opponent does have 2 prize cards remaining, so you can ignore it once, but not twice. So after playing down this, Giratina potentially could get those energies accelerated, have that Sableye lined up, but also consider getting that Grass Energy onto the Giratina V while you still see it.
Grass on the Giratina, Psychic on the Sableye, and then energy from the hand to retreat the Comfey. I guess you can actually Jet Energy the bench Comfey, get another flower selecting out of it.
Well, we're at 9 cards in the Lost Zone, so I think that's very good.
Yeah.
That is 2 birds with 1 stone there. It's going to be necessary. I'd be interested to see if the Jet Energy is used and then you play the Iono and then you draw with the Comfey, get some additional cards into the new hands, or if Danny has some ideas for what to do with the rest of this hand here.
But off that first flower selecting really just completely changed the way this turn was going. And it does look like Danny has 10 in the Lost Zone now.
Well, that helps. Of course, still could be a solid play to just incorporate the Jet Energy. Or if you have an additional energy that you'd like to get down onto the Giratina, you could have that Pokemon lined up ready. See if Danny's considering hand size here, and he's going to do that as we see the Iono drop Camille all the way down to 2 cards. Danny sees 5. He's going to see 2 more as well with this flower selecting.
Both players' hands go to the bottom. Danny finally finds a Colress's Experiment.
It's not 1, but 2 Giratina V-Star. Don't need Colress Experiment if you find the Mirage Gate, and that's going to open up the window for this Giratina V, which will inevitably become a V-Star on the following turn. Look at some prize cards.
And this game has turned on its head for Camille, at least for this turn right now. going to be losing a Sableye and potentially the Comfey or the Manaphy. Giratina's ready to take a knockout on the Dragonite V.
Oh, this is cool. Now, there's a window, I believe, where you can just go 6-3-3, line up the Manaphy and the Comfey with the rest of the damage. And if Giratina knocks Dragonite attacks, it would knock out both Pokemon,
wow.
and then you'd win with the Giratina V-Star on the next turn. We're going to see the more conservative route here go after the Comfey. It avoids seeing the switching cart come into play or the escape rope to help bail out this hand. So I don't dislike this play, but that would have been cool.
Honestly, though, Danny, if Kamil attacks with Dragonite V again, that means a Sableye will be able to clean up. Oh, no. Never mind. All right. 3 prizes still. 3 prizes.
Yeah, we got a little more work to do, but
Clara is going to be the supporter for Kamil here. Grabs back a couple energies, Comfey and Sableye.
yeah, this is worrisome as Dragonite can take a knockout. You can get the energy onto the Sableye, and then you're threatening 2 Pokemon that could win the game next turn. Unless, of course, the active Pokemon is the Dragonite V or the Giratina V-Star. It's going to be the retreat, however.
To the Cramorant. Lost Vacuum, getting rid of the path to the peak there.
Yep, just Kamil understands damage is not my friend right now. I cannot take any more damage onto this side of the board. Put me in a really awkward position. Just got to eye up those prize cards. Cramorant, a great way to remove this Pokemon, but if you're not able to find that Sableye in combination with that Psychic Energy next turn, Giratina V-Star is going to run through the rest of this board.
Kamil does have the Sableye and Psychic in hand, but you cannot bench it.
No. And you've already seen 2 Iono from your opponent. So the odds of them having that 3rd hand disruption, very unlikely. And I love this here. You see the attachment onto the Comfey, already thinking about if I'm going to need to retreat this Pokemon into the Sableye Sableye with the Psychic Energy. I'm going to have that lined up and ready. Goodbye card.
Flower selecting for Danny here. Grabs the Psychic. But honestly, I think Kamil has checkmate kind of locked up.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here too. It's just really smart thinking about how to go about this. The issue is the Lost Zone is at 8. So Sableye is not ready yet. But if he finds that, then we're talking.
I thought we were talking right now.
I'm talking. You're listening.
Okay.
Sorry. In a perfect world.
Yeah. Even with a million cards in Danny's hand, there's no hand disruption left. There's no way to get rid of that Sableye.
Sees every other supporter in the deck, but none of them bring back the Iono.
Kamil just needs a Colress's Experiment off the top of the deck.
V-Star already used. Comfey ready to get one more. Can't really go clearing off that Comfey in this situation. Have to knock out that Cramorant. Should be able to do that with the V-Star if you'd like to have the additional hit points. Of course, you could calculate if it's even possible for the Dragonite V to take a knockout in this situation. And
opts not to take the knockout, but there's the boss's orders off the top of the deck, and there we go. Okay. Kamil taking game 1 thanks to the top deck boss's orders.
I mean, you think about how that went down. Danny played that very smart.
Yeah.
There's, 2 cards in that hand? It's Sableye and it's Psychic Energy. You know that your opponent is going to have to retreat this Cramorant if they want to start to look through their deck, find some additional resources. And that wasn't going to be possible. They'd lose the Psychic Energy trying to retreat. The only thing that punished in that situation was basically finding the Colress Experiment or finding that boss's orders. Sure enough, right off the top there, boss's orders, getting things done.
I think also Escape Rope wasn't out.
All right, Jeremy. Yes, that too. Yeah, very limited resources there. Danny understood. what could potentially help him out in finding a route to victory. And well, now I'm wondering, should we have gone with the 6-3-3 Sableye placement and tried to bait the Dragonite a little more?
I guess we're going to have to figure out for game 2. This was a very back and forth game 1. Danny really trying to claw back in. Even had to Abyss Seeking just because you could not find Colress's Experiment early on. Kamil went with that Dragonite, taking down that Giratina V, and was able to close things out thanks to that boss's orders.
Both players, reasonable prize cards there. Once again for Danny, the double nest ball could lead to some awkwardness on the opening setup, and it is going to be the wise decision to let your opponent go first in this matchup. So often you're going to try to go first and get the aggression going, but Colress is the name of the game, and Pokemon.
Yeah, and Pokemon, I was about to say. Well, boss's orders, you did well enough game 1. Going to Lost Zone game 2.
Well, Jeremy, good news and bad news. Danny's hand is awful. Good news is his opponent played a Pokestop, so maybe there's some help there. And that is one of those reasons that I do not like to see the Pokestop on the opening turn. Sometimes it can help lead the way to finding the right resources if you feel like you need to take a risk and go for the Battle VIP, but we already see that in play here, ready to roll.
Yeah, I think also bad news for Danny is Camille's hand is looking very good. And starting with that Comfey, having that Radiant Greninja, using that concealed cards, has that Battle VIP pass, still hasn't used Pokestop, and is using this Battle VIP pass to do a little prize checking. Yeah, Colress's Experiments are in the deck. Cool. All right, we're good.
we love to see that. Luminion as well. Sometimes we see players incorporate the one of Ultra Ball to potentially help find that Pokemon. Maybe Pokestop does just that with the one Ultra Ball there. And it feels good when it works like that, but I feel like it doesn't so often.
Listen, you often find ways, or you often lack ways to discard the Battle VIP passes later on in the game. If you got that one Ultra Ball, hey, I know a couple expired tickets that might need to get thrown away.
There we go. Can't take them to the prize wall. Tournament's over.
Flower selecting, get rid of that Pokestop. Pretty easy decision there. Grab Lightning Energy. Pokestop, discard, discard, discard. All right.
That looks like Danny's Pokestop. Can't be having that.
Energy retreat. Finds a Water Energy and a Colress's Experiment. Already has a Colress's Experiment in hand.
That is, yeah, this is an actual debate when you look at this. And sure enough, it is going to be the Colress Experiment. And that just shows how important that Water Energy really is. Because getting to 7 cards in the Lost Zone with one Mirage Gate and the Water ready.
Big Pokestop here.
Oh, no.
All right, nice. And that's the game now.
That's almost the game, honestly. It is almost the game at this point. Danny has no way to get cards into the Lost Zone. He is attaching a Grass Energy to a Manaphy. And there is a path to the peak that could have potentially been played to slow down, but I think Danny understands, if I'm going to win this game, I need to use that Pokestop again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see all my Battle VIP passes and lose
I
and cry.
was just about to say, yeah. Closest Experiment from Camille here.
Wow.
Finds a very good 5 cards. Double Switch Cart, Closest Experiment, Water Energy, Escape Rope. Can only keep 3 of those. I want to keep all 5.
I like all 5 at this point. I see the Escape Rope. I think that's a card that you certainly would want to consider at this point when you see the attachment on the Manaphy. That is a way to where Danny, if he did find Nest Ball, he would use that to run to the Comfey to find the Colress Experiment.
Oh, wow. Nest Ball found off the concealed cards. This is going to allow Camille to find Cramorant, and with 5 in the Lost Zone, has more than enough to activate that Lost Provisions and take a knockout on Danny's opposing Cramorant.
Well, would you rather knock out the Cramorant or the Manaphy at this point?
It would definitely be the Manaphy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about Lost Provisions when there's no cards in the Lost Zone, but still.
Having that pivot of the Manaphy still gives Danny a little bit of hope, but it is not looking good.
Right. Camille, 6 cards in the Lost Zone.
All right, draw 3.
That's unreal.
That's why we play the Pokestop.
Danny just has to smile at it. Says, okay, I see what kind of game it is, my friend. And I mean, what a start here.
Hit him with the, you have a good deck.
Just spam it over and over
old.
again. Well, now you just hit him with the cringe smile. That's my go-to. Cringe smile all day.
I think that's just smiling.
It's cringe.
Smiling is cringe?
It can be.
Another Comfey found off the Suian heavy ball.
Well, I'd love to see if Kamil potentially could just remove this Pokestop at this point. You don't want to give your opponent any window here. I don't think we see Lost Vacuum, however, in the hands.
Attaching the energy to the active and then playing the switch card, saving that energy for a future pivot.
Whoa!
Oh, okay.
All right,
that's not gonna
never
help.
mind.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. There's no Pokemon. It's just the Giratina V-Star. There is no card that helps out in this situation.
Well, there's
Never mind.
always,
There's a water energy for Rain Splash.
there's always round 9.
It's gonna be the tail of the tape there. Danny's looking, see if there is anything here. I don't see it, Jeremy.
I think you need glasses. No, there is absolutely nothing.
It's got to be the Pokestop
that's right.
to draw out here. And there's 2 nest ball prized. We talked about that earlier. He's gonna find Battle VIP Pass, and the game's gonna end.
Don't put that evil on me.
Here we go.
Pokestop, top 3, all at once. Flip him over. Nice.
Knew it. Knew it.
Doesn't even want the Battle VIP Pass.
Yep. Yeah, we will take that, and
I'm kind of forced to take it.
you can try to play it.
Yeah, try. Bumping that Pokestop.
Does not shut off lost provisions, and that's what I'm talking about. Rain Splash.
And with that, Kamil Colatosti moves on. Has enough match points to go to day 2 now.
There we go. Exactly the goal you have coming into an event like this, of this magnitude. So many players trying to get the job done here. Getting it done in round 8 feels even nicer, as you have that potential to find those 3 additional match points in the next round. Danny's going to be looking to do the same here. This Pokemon day depends on it if he wants to play on Sunday.
Now with round 9 coming up shortly, it is do or go home for a lot of these Pokemon players here. Over 1,700 in the entire event for just the Masters TCG division. And this is where a lot of players are going to make or break their day 2 run.
I mean, we're going to have that debate once more of, do you ID? Do you take the points?
Listen, all right, so.
All right, let's hear it.
There's so much more money on the line now.
Yes.
I think those match points matter even more.
Oh, you're going that way. Okay.
See, so
I like it.
Especially with, if we're going to have like 150, 160 players in day 2.
Yep.
Even
How do you
if
stand
you go,
out?
yeah, even if you go 6-2-1, you're going to need 4 wins at least to maybe bubble top 32.
My guy.
Yeah.
Well done. Absolutely. Don't ID.
Yeah.
Play Pokemon. That's the whole reason we're here. Get your 3 match points, beat up your friends, and make it to top 8, or at least get to 32 and bring home a grand. That sounds pretty good to me.
And again, this game 1 was the back and forth that we were kind of hoping for in this matchup. Danny still couldn't really find those Colress's experiments early, and the fact that he was forced to Abyss Seeking just gave up 2 free prizes to Kamil, and from there, Kamil was able to clear things up with pretty much no cards in hand.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that Dragonite V get very aggressive, knock out that Pokemon, and go down to just 2 prizes remaining. But Kamil with a very clutch Clara to get all of the resources lined up, led to having just the closeout there at the very end regardless with the boss's orders. Looked like there was potential for that game to close out if Danny could have one more turn. Just couldn't find it. And what a great turn here. I mean, you have to love when you've got nothing going on and you still play it out, see those, and have a good time smiling with it. I mean, Danny loves playing this game. He's been playing for so long, and that's why you rain splash.
Yeah, that's why you rain splash. I mean, honestly, you don't get to a player like Danny's caliber without having some of those just really awkward games.
It happens.
And when you're a multi-time regional winner, when you're an IC winner, it's going to happen. You play so many games of Pokemon, and there's so much variance that's in this game.
Yep. Maybe that's a little comeback for beating me up at a regional final and getting turned to Blastoise every single game. So take that. See you in round 9.
Again, round 9. Danny still has one more chance to try to win and make it in. Kamil has a chance to win and pad those stats a little bit, get those match points ready for day 2. Honestly, with the amount of people, last season we saw, what, 35 was the bubble a lot of the times?
Yeah.
Where can we go from here? Is that always going to be the bubble now, like 35?
Yeah, you start to worry because 19 points gets you into the next day. 501 should be clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. It really depends on the tiebreaker situations as we move into that, but sometimes 35 points might not be enough, and that is ridiculous to think of. There's so much at stake. You could have one of the best days of your life, and it wouldn't be enough.
Well, speaking of one of the best days of your life, we have our interview with Kamil ready. Let's go ahead and take it down to the lounge. Take it away, Skarzig.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the lounge. Adam Watson here with our winner, Kamil Colatosti. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling pretty amazing. I'd say it's been a lifelong dream of mine to, be on stream, and, to get a victory just makes it all the more sweet. So I'm just really happy to be here.
Yeah, that's so awesome that you were able to fulfill that dream. Come up on the stream, play, live for our audience at home. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in. And, anybody else who might be rooting for you from the stands, that's so exciting. Really happy that you got that win. So first, let's talk about Lost Zone Box. Is this just a deck that you've been practicing for a long time that you're comfortable on, or did you really feel it was a strong meta read here for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so basically in the Silver Tempest format, I exclusively only played Lugia. And I also played it to Hartford Regionals. And for this Regionals, I wanted to play a deck that gave me a little bit more control over how I did. And I really just wanted to improve as a player. So I needed to just play a deck that would allow me, to make mistakes, learn from them, and to your point, this is a deck that I have been playing for a while. It's a deck that really matches my play style, very fast, very aggressive. Really tries to put the opponent on their back feet right away. So yeah, it's been a huge. I've just loved the deck, and it's been 3-4 months I've been consistently playing it.
Wonderful, and congratulations as well, for having the bravery to branch out into a new deck, to get out there, make those mistakes, and be willing to improve as a player. As we head through this new season, that's what's going to need to happen. None of our competitors can remain stagnant in this competitive field. Do you want to maybe give a quick shout out to anybody that helped you test this Lost Zone deck, somebody who really turned you on to the list in the first place and helped you get those reps in?
Yeah, so I want to just give a shout out to Jay, Vic, Dario, and all my team from Montreal. They always play with me. They always help me, and I'm just really grateful to have a team that shares the same passion that I do with the game, and to really grow together. This just, it's something I'm really, really grateful for.
I love to hear that from all of our competitors, that they have their friends that are sharing in those passions and helping improve and practice, and it's paying off here in Pittsburgh. I think you're locked into day 2 now. Maybe you're going to play one more. Kyle and Jeremy were saying that you got to play it out. No IDs.
Yeah, there's no IDs here.
And you agree with that? You got to get as many points?
No, I'm trying to win.
And you got to get those wins And Lost Zone is a deck that's kind of known for going long and tying. Is there any special strategy you have to make sure these games go fast other than just playing the turbo variant?
Yeah, I think really probably the most important thing is just really understanding when to scoop and when to concede very early. It's just really vital, and the practice, like having a lot of practice on the deck, allows you to just have a lot more muscle memory when you're making these flower selecting, colorless decisions. So that's really what's helped me today to just really play fast. To have all of the actions and what I want to do very clear in my mind, so I can just do it.
Very well said. And I want to take the opportunity now to dig into the actual match you played on stream. You're going up against Lost Tina. This is considered to be the best deck in the format, with your variant running close behind. Did you feel that Tina's going to be a hard matchup for you, or were you pretty confident going in?
So I think in general, Lost Zone Turbo seems to be much more consistent. At least that's what I felt in the games that I played. Today I've actually played against Lost Zone Tina 4 times. And in all, I'm 8-1 in games. So I find it's really been tough for them to set up or to get anything going. And they're playing a lot more energy cards and stuff like that. So if you're whiffing Colress or you don't hit what you need to on the first turns, and I'm really able to just push the lead to a point where it's very, very hard for them to come back. And then once they lose that game 1, it's very hard for them to win 2 more games after that.
I see. That's a very top-down perspective on that matchup. And when it comes to getting the card you need, I gotta call out the Pokestop. It giveth and it taketh away. When you saw how dirty your opponent was getting done trying to use that Pokestop for their advantage, does that scare you at all with Pokestop? Has that been your experience using that stadium?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the card just reads, discard the top 3 cards of your deck, and that's okay. I think the benefits to hitting 3 good cards, like I did in this game, are so insane in the moment. And when you're playing a deck like Lost Zone Turbo, you have a lot of ways to recover resources. So honestly, sometimes milling 3 is actually pretty good.
That is a fair point. The Super Rod, put it back in, set up for Mirage Gate.
Exactly.
And it just guarantees your resources are where you need them to be. And I think that despite kind of the struggles that we were seeing in the game, you played it very clean. Is there a specific matchup that you are wanting to hit as you finish out day 1 and head into day 2, or do you consider Lost Zone just to be a deck that kind of is decent into everything? Yeah,
so I wouldn't mind hitting Lost Zone Tina. I think I'm very confident in that matchup that I can outspeed them. I also wouldn't mind hitting Miraidon. I know there's a lot of Miraidon here. I feel quite comfortable in that matchup. Mew as well. I'm not really worried about Mew. It's a matchup that allows, I have a lot of turns to find what I need, and I'm just obviously I'm trying to dodge. Maybe I don't really like the mirror that much, and any Rapid Strike Urshifu, trying to dodge those matchups, but. Lost Zone Turbo is really a deck that rewards play, and I feel like I have a very good chance in every matchup as long as I'm playing to my outs. So I'm just gonna continue to do that into day 2.
Great. I love the confidence, Kamil. Seriously,
Thank you.
Picking up a deck, doing well with it, having that hard work pay off. If there was any viewers in our audience today that wanted to start learning this Turbo Lost Zone box, what advice would you be able to give them?
So I think I would say don't be afraid to go to a tournament and not do well. It's very important, the season, it's a long season, and there's a lot of opportunities to improve, and you're not going to improve until you just send the deck, make a whole lot of mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes, review, talk to your friends, and I would just say have the confidence to try.
That is very beautifully put. Kamil. Jump in, make mistakes. You can't learn without playing the game, and you learn so much more, I think, when you play against players that are definitely a little bit higher skill than you. You can find their mistakes. They're going to exploit your mistakes a little bit more, and I certainly couldn't agree more. Thank you for those wise words. I wish you luck going into day 2, and that's going to be it from us. When we come back from this break, we've got our next round of Swiss right around the corner, so don't go anywhere.